Hello. I'm so happy to see you. I know I don't see you. Listen to me. I'm happy that you clicked on the video and then you're watching this. I'm so thankful for your viewership. I am more appreciative than you may even imagine. You have no idea, because it's thanks to you that I am here. Your viewership is what keeps me here. Thank you so much. Okay. Now, this is for those who can and who want to do more. You have options in the description below. Pick one that fits you best. And if you cannot find the one that you want, or even the one that's there, it's okay. What you can do is you can donate to the channel's personal Buy Me a Coffee page. It helps. But regardless of how you spin it, you watching till the end, from start to finish, commenting, liking, interacting with me and with the community, helps the algorithm push the video forward to a bigger audience. So no matter how you slice it, you are the reason why I'm here. Thank you. Thank you so much. So the recent news on Bryan Khoberger, I think we all know about now. It came out a few days ago regarding him attempting to connect a contact with the potential victims, regarding him stalking the victims at their work, regarding him being completely inappropriate. Okay? We know about that. But what I want to talk about today, in addition to touching those topics, and I want to talk about a few dots, a few in between that I've put together, because my brain works differently, I guess. And I want to share those dots with you. And at the end of this video, I'm going to tie it all together with my final thought. There are a few things that people are not talking about. Let's go. By the way, if you're new here, my name is Alistair Nzekio, and this is my point of view. And I hope, as we go through this heavy subject together, that you at least giggle and smile a little bit. That's my goal. If that succeeds, then I'm a happy man. Okay, let's go.
Tonight, the search warrant for Khoberger's Washington apartment has been sealed temporarily. A judge saying the details could, quote, prematurely end the investigation and create a threat to public safety. Meanwhile,
I started with that one because the search warrant was leaked. And the judge said the reason why we want it sealed is to make sure there's no damages to a few things. No damages to public opinion. There's no influence on public opinion, because remember, we have to find an impartial jury, okay? That's important. And public safety. Public safety. What would the judge say public safety? Because that would polarize. It may polarize people. It may polarize people. It's a judge. I can't tell you what he was thinking. This is just me assuming. And prematurely end the investigation? Yes, it can. It can. It could affect everything. That's why it was sealed. And this is also why I have an opinion as to, I'm not super happy with the law enforcement person who leaked the search warrant. I'm not happy about that. I'm not happy about that because the goal at large is to find who did it. I believe is Bryan, allegedly, but I believe Bryan Khoberger is the alleged murderer. Bring it. That's what I believe. So we need to find an impartial jury. All that leakage, who are we gonna find? Who's gonna not have an opinion after this? That's why I'm a little bit like, come on. And this law enforcement risk, come on. June is right there in the corner. June is right there in the corner. We can wait. We're grown up. We can wait till June. There was no need for you to leak anything. I'm a little upset about that. It's a little reckless. It's reckless for his own well-being, right? Like, you could lose your job. You could lose your pension. You're affecting the situation. This is a serious situation. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. I guess maybe I'm too professional for most people, but it's not a joke. There's a reason why it's sealed. Shut up. Shut up. Wait till June. That's when the prosecution is going to reveal what they have on their hand.
Mr. Khoberger understands his right to a timely preliminary hearing, and he's willing to waive the timeliness to allow us time to obtain discovery in this case and be prepared.
And Mr. Thompson, are you in agreement with that?
The state has no objection to that, Your Honor. And Ms. Taylor reached out to us by email yesterday with her proposal. On reflection, the state's calendar would be better in the month of July, but we will make the end of June work if that's the board's preference. And I haven't had a chance to talk to Ms. Taylor about that. I'm sorry, I know that's last minute.
That's okay. The court's calendar is going to be better towards the end of June, early July. So would that work?
This is an important piece of information. The public defender told the judge that her client understands his right, and her client decided to waive his right to a speedy discovery period. I told you, right, that when we first discovered when the guy, the probable suspect, and I mentioned to you that one of the things that really stuck out to me, the fact that he was very poised and composed. I want you to keep that in mind, the poised and composed, because I'm going to tie that dot as well. And how if I was me, I'd be like, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I would have been all over the place. But here is what is important, because Bryan Khoberger is acting like he's innocent. He's telling us he didn't do it, right? So if he didn't do it, why would he waive his right to a speedy preliminary hearing? Wouldn't you want to know? If you were wrongfully accused and you were innocent, wouldn't you want to know ASAP what you got on me? What do you mean I'm guilty? For what? What did I do? Don't touch me. What the hell did I do? What did I do? You murdered someone. What? What? You killed someone. I didn't do anything. I was home in my underwear. What are you talking about? What is wrong with you? You're clearly lying. You're completely lying. No, we have proof. Here's the arrest warrant. Here's all the warrant we have. What? Turn around. Excuse me? What are you doing? Get in the car. No! You best believe when I get my butt over there in prison, I'm calling all the lawyers in the world. Listen, have a seat here, Miss Taylor. Sit down. What the hell is this about? What the hell is this about? What is going on? Mr. Ezekiel, you have the death penalty over your head, and they're going to kill you. Excuse me? I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. Miss Taylor, what the hell is going on? And then we go in court and you waive my right to a preliminary hearing? No. What you got? Show me what you got, prosecution. What do you have? What do you have? What do you mean, Miss Taylor, we're waiving this right? That is absolutely bonkers. Bonkers. If you believe you're truly innocent and someone is like, you did it, show me what you got. Show me. Don't wait till June. I don't want to be waiting if they're in a cell. No, I want to be home, sipping my bed, eating my food, and hugging my spouse, and wiggling and dancing whatever I want. Show me what you got. This nincompoop, because you best believe that Miss Taylor had a conversation with her client, because she can't just waive that right without a discussion. And even the prosecution said, Miss Taylor reached out to me by email. I told you, lawyers talk. Lawyers talk. Your client, lawyer privileges, please, it's in a box. In public, it's very well respected. But in private, they talk. And you know why it's important for them to talk? Because they need to exchange information sometimes. They don't know everything all the time. They don't know how to deal with stuff all the time. Please, this is a profession where you have to deal with people. Sometimes the client is very difficult. I'll share you a personal story. My mom and her divorce lawyer, the first one, I can talk about that because they're different lawyers now. My dad's lawyer, the first lawyer, was talking smack about my father to my mom's lawyer. I can say that. Yeah, I can say that. She was like, oh my God, my client's so annoying. And my mom's lawyer was like, oh, yeah, he is. Of course. Of course. So you don't think Miss Taylor went over there to Mr. Thompson, the guy with the good beard? And she's like, look, Mr. Thompson, what you got? Look, Miss Taylor, listen to me. Have a seat. You see this? You see all this evidence? You see this? What you got for yourself, Miss Taylor? Oh, wait a minute. Oh my God. He did this? Yes, he did. And, oh, okay. Don't yell at me. No, I'm just talking to you, Anne. Okay. So, all right. I'll just tell him, Bryan, listen, dear, they got you. Now, what we can do is that you don't want the whole world to know you're really guilty, right? So let's see you negotiate with the prosecution. So first thing is we're going to waive that stupid right of ours. And then we're going to spend all this month talking and figuring out a solution to our problems. This is a very important piece of information that people are not talking about. Would you waive your rights if you're innocent? Would you waive any rights? Absolutely not. Another reason why this man is completely guilty, allegedly, in my opinion. If you're innocent of anything, don't waive nothing or get yourself a new darn lawyer. Lawyer, you're fired. Yeah. Wish you would waive your right. You are out of here. Get out. What? This is not a joke. There's a death penalty over your head. Pretending like I'm innocent. No, this is, again, the behavior does not make sense. And you might put all the arguments in the world. Maybe he's shy. Maybe he's this. Yeah, maybe he's shy, but this is a PhD student. He must have some modicum of intellect. So therefore, and criminology at that. So therefore, as he's sitting here nervous as hell, shy, oh my God, I don't want to burst out in tears. Fine. Behind closed door with your lawyer, you don't waive your rights, Mr. Criminology student. So infuriating. Anyway, if you're wondering what the hell is a speedy preliminary period hearing, it's pretty much the prosecution telling you, look, you're under arrest because of this. Okay? Now come to me to the cell. You have to defend yourself. This is so crucial. So crucial why he waived that. I put that in the notes. You know, I gather all my notes and then I make a big video with all this information. But I put that in the note and I was like, red flag. If my lawyer ever said to me, waive this right, and I know I'm innocent, you are fired. Fired. I don't want to hear any more. Get out. Unbelievable. Now listen to this. Even the judge was like, blink, 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 blink. What?
So, Mr. Khoberger, I need to speak to you for a moment then. Sir, you do understand, and Ms. Taylor has represented here, that she's advised you of your right to have, or fully discussed with you, the right that you have, which is to have your preliminary hearing within 14 days of the date that you initially appeared before this court. As you recall, when I advised you of your rights, that hearing is a probable cause hearing where the state has to establish that more likely than not, these felony offenses were committed and you were the one that committed the felony offenses. If you waive your right to a speedy preliminary hearing, it does not mean that you're giving up your right to have a preliminary hearing. It simply means that you would not be able to come back and challenge that the state did not present probable cause within 14 days. Do you understand?
Yes.
Have you had enough time to speak with Ms. Taylor about your decision to waive your right to a speedy preliminary hearing?
Yes.
Do you need any additional time to do so?
No.
Then I will ask at this time, as to the 5 counts, felony counts that were charged in the criminal complaint that was filed on December 29th of 2022, are you waiving your right to a speedy preliminary hearing and agreeing that that hearing can be held outside the 14-day period?
Yes.
And Ms. Taylor, do you concur with his waiver?
I do, Your Honor. Thank you.
I will find your waiver of speedy preliminary hearing is knowing and intelligent.
Did you hear that? That's important. Because I didn't even know that until I heard that. Essentially what the judge said, she said, listen to me very carefully, Mr. Bryan. You were waiving to something very important. Because it does not change the preliminary, that word is hard for me to pronounce. It doesn't change what the prosecution has to do, which is prove without any doubt that you're guilty, allegedly, right? The difference here is that do you want to hear it now or do you want to hear it later? If you were innocent, truly innocent, wouldn't you want to hear it now? What you got? Ms. Taylor said the reason why they're waiving this is because they want more time to obtain discovery. Discovery? There's no need for discovery, Miss Taylor. You know why? Because it's the prosecution's job to prove to all of us why they got you. What are you discovering? The evidence? No. They're gonna show you what they got within 14 days. Just sit back and relax, Ann Taylor. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just putting one and one together. I'm putting my common sense together. But isn't that how that works? What kind of excuse is that, Ann Taylor? We're waiving it to allow more time for discovery. What are you going to discover? What are you going to do? Maybe, you know what? I'm not a lawyer. I'm not that smart. I'm not Googling that because that's too much extra work that I would have to do. Right? It's common sense. There's no discovery to be made. The prosecution is going to show you their hand. They have 14 days to show you their hand, Ann Taylor. No, because she's a lawyer and she's not stupid. She talked to the prosecution, and the prosecution just said, listen to me, Miss Taylor. Look what we got. Look what we got. She's like, oh my God. Okay. Yeah, that's bad. Yes, Miss Ann Taylor. And she went back to her client and said, Bryan, I'm sorry, honey. Sorry, darling. They got you. Oh my God, they got you. Stop wasting your time. Look, the prosecution there told me that they don't want to waste their time with the 14-day stuff. Do you know why they don't want to waste their time with the 14 days? Because the prosecution is protecting their evidence. That's why it was sealed. That's why the first video I showed you where the judge sealed that search warrant, because the prosecution wants to keep a very tight lip. That's why the prosecution told Ann Taylor, here's what we have. He's definitely guilty. Ann Taylor agreed, and the prosecution said, we want to protect what we have, so you're going to waive that right to preliminary within 14 days, and I'll see you in June. Would you agree? Doesn't that make sense? Okay. I know someone who might not agree. I'm waiting for you. Mr. Bryan Khoberger and his lawyer, Ann Taylor, decided to waive the preliminary rights. That word is really hard. Let's look at the second dot. Let's look at what's in that search warrant, because unfortunately, it was leaked. But now that it's everybody to see, let's look at it.
This morning, we're learning new evidence about the new details about the evidence that led to the arrest of Bryan Khoberger. That is the man charged with murder and the killings of 4 Idaho college students. The evidence includes a, quote, collection of dark red cuttings from a pillow with a reddish-brown stain in part of a mattress cover with stains. These were some of the items taken from Khoberger's apartment.
Yeah, CNN's Jean Casares joins us with more. So this evidence, Jean, was taken from these unsealed documents,
right.
The search warrant documents. Tell us more.
And we're also seeing the application, which is fascinating because their argument to get this search warrant at the residence of Bryan Khoberger is that there was so much blood at the crime scene, and there had to have been blood splatter and blood cast off, and that had to get on the clothes of the killer and the shoes of the killer. And based on, according to these documents, they say based on the phone records and the locations that he went afterwards, we believe that he could have gone straight home after this. And this is what we're asking for. Is we want to show everybody what they were asking for. They asked for blood or other bodily fluid, knives, sheaths, or other sharp objects, images of the 4 students that were killed, and data showing any planning that he might have done or how to carry this off. Now let's show you what they took. And this is the return from the search warrant affidavit. They took a collection of dark red cuttings from the pillow of reddish-brown stain, a pair of mattress covers with the stains, several hair strands, an animal hair strand. Remember, there was a dog. Kaylee had her dog there. A nitrate-type black glove, and store receipts, a Dickies tag.
Let's stop right there and let's understand a little bit what we see here. So the murder was committed. They have a grosso modo idea of who this man is. So they go to the judge and they say, look, sir, please sign this warrant. We need to get to this house immediately. They show up to the house. He wasn't there, obviously. And they collect whatever they collect. Dark red cutting from pillow of reddish brown stain. So you might ask yourself, oh God, maybe he was bleeding from the head. maybe he had a nosebleed. Listen to me very carefully. She mentioned to you earlier, right? When you kill someone, remember Chandler Scissorhand? Chop, 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 when he cut up his parents with the handsaw? At the thigh, not even at the joint, at the thigh. I'm a biologist. Listen to me very closely. Blood, you have 6 liters of blood going through your body. And that heart is pumping that blood like it's nobody's business. You sever an artery, geysers of blood gushing everywhere. Chandler, chop, chop, chop guy, he spent all night cleaning that up, and he did a very good job cleaning it up. Listen to me. You didn't see a single drop of blood, but that's not the point. The point is that when they go and get these warrants, they don't show up alone. There's a whole team. Have you seen crime labs, the forensic team? These are scientists. This is not like these are legit scientists that know exactly what they're looking for. And by the way, to go and focus again on the pillow and reddish brown stain, when he went there and allegedly stabbed all these girls and committed the murder, blood is everywhere. You, average person, really underestimate. You underestimate how much blood squirts out if you're injured incorrectly. It's a lot of blood. There's a lot of blood. You have a lot of blood in your body. There's a lot of blood. A lot of blood. And it splatters everywhere. And I guarantee you the pillow, because he went home, he probably, allegedly, oh God, please, leave me alone with your Sue sticks. He went home, allegedly, it's covered in blood. Oh my God, my God, oh my God. My gosh, these girls were such hard work. Jeez. You know, maybe high on adrenaline, scared, and went straight to bed and put his filthy head on the pillow. I don't know. Maybe. But how'd you explain red cuttings from a pillow of reddish brown stain? Please. Nobody's that filthy. Please. Is it dye? Is it hair dye? What could it be? Listen to me very carefully. This is just the affidavit of what they gathered. This is before the arrest warrant. Listen. Before the cops get a warrant to arrest you, there needs to be a probable cause. You don't think they already tested that blood there? You don't think that blood didn't come out positive for something? They wouldn't arrest you unless they have probable cause. That's why, go back again to the first thought, why would you waive? Why would you waive that speedy preliminary hearing? Let me see what you got, prosecution, because they got a lot. Next thought, part of a mattress cover with stains. Mattress cover with stains. Again, as about nurses, I know you guys are there. We know. Once the blood starts flowing, honey, it is pouring. Okay? Yes. And blood is permissible. It gets everywhere. It is deep, darling. It's deep. Deep, darling. It's deep. It's deep. It's deep. And several hair strands, animal hair strand. Oh, honey, I cannot wait till June. They're going to come out with the dog of Kaylee. Please. Store receipts. Dickies tag. Who goes to Dickies? I mean, you know, I'm just playing. People go to Dickies all the time. Otherwise, they would be out of business. But Nitrate type black gloves? Let me tell you something. For you criminals who are watching me, I don't know if you are a stoop. Let me tell you why you're a stoop. Because if you think you could commit the crime of this magnitude and you could wear that stupid gloves, this is not the 1980s. This is not the 1960s. You have to wear literally a whole condom over your body. Look, nurses, you know, right? Look. Ha! Skin cells. Wait, I'll do it again. Skin cells. You don't understand what technology can do today. You can't hide. You can't hide. Unless you're wearing a condom from head to toe, they'll know you're there. They'll know you're there. Oh, criminals, look, criminals, I hope I discourage you. Don't put your hands on someone. Please. Go for a run. Go for a jog. It's not worth it.
Piece, of course, is a long-standing store for workwear, right? And I looked on their website, a lot of dark clothes for the workwear. But this is significant, and also they did some presumptive testing at the scene, which, being in courtrooms for so many years, I can tell you, is at the scene they can do a presumptive test to determine if it might be blood, and they took those with them. So,
okay, you think they would take? You would take those pillow stains if it was just what, like hair dye? No, they took it with them, Brian. They took the stains with them. Anybody who believes this guy is still innocent, allegedly, they took the stains, the pillow stains, the mattress stains, stains of a brown stain. Blood turns red to brown to whatever, you know. They took that. They took that. They took that for a reason.
I think that's an indication what presumptive testing may have shown right there. And then also, I think the nitrate glove is fascinating because we know the DNA of the killer was on the knife sheath, but it wasn't from a glove because they got DNA. You can't get DNA from the glove. You get it from the finger, right? Or the hand or some body part. So it's interesting that they took that glove. And we didn't see in the search warrant affidavit that any glove was found at the scene, but they thought possibly we could get something.
What a fascinating list, both of what they got and what they were after.
Yes.
Jean Casares, thank you very much for that reporting. With us now is criminal defense attorney Ashley Merchant. Ashley, thanks so much for being with us. So you just heard that list of what they got. What do you think the most important thing now is that they have in their hands?
The glove and the hair. And I think the glove is important because if they can put any of the victim's skin cells on that glove, maybe on the outside of the glove, they can also test for fingerprints and skin cells on the inside of the glove. So if they could find their suspect's skin cell on that glove, or a partial palm print or a partial fingerprint or something like that, and then they've got the victim's skin cells on it, that's going to make their case for them because that connects the two and there's no other connection. Why would Khoberger be in that home? Why would he have an item that shares skin cell? The other thing that I think is important is the hair. Did the hair have any roots attached? If it did, they can get DNA from it. Did he have some transfer DNA from those victims that he brought home with him? And so we're not just looking at blood, we're also looking for things like transfer DNA, because we're to the point in science that we can actually get DNA off of skin cells. And that's one of those things that, I mean, you can drop a skin cell very easily. If you shake someone's hand, you transfer your DNA to their hand. And so that's what they're really looking for, this trace type DNA.
And I'm gonna add on to that. This is coming from a biologist here, but like molecular biologist. Okay, listen to me. Mitochondria, the mitochondria in your cell is very resilient. So when you go like this, and everybody has mitochondria. You inherit it from your mom. Okay, when you go like that, skin cells are flying. Skin cells, skin cells, skin cells, skin cells, skin cells. Everywhere. You come in here and you zoom this room, that skin cells are everywhere. Do you understand? Listen, even if the cell kaput, even if the cell is kaput, they come in a month later, a week later, the mitochondria DNA is very resilient. They can look at you with that. They can look at you with that, darling. Science nowadays is a whole new, different level. We do it all the time. Well, we used to do it. I used to do it all the time. We do it all the time. We do it all the time. We do it all the time. And I can guarantee you that man was over his league. He has no idea how to commit the perfect crime. He thought, allegedly, I'm a criminology student and I'm smart and I know everything. I'm gonna get away with this. Oh my God, he has no freaking idea. He is way over his head, Bryan Khoberger. People are way smarter than you combined. Do you understand? Do you understand? They got you. Because this is before the arrest warrant. There is no arrest warrant unless you show this to the judge. Judge, it's a freaking match. Give me the freaking warrant. You know why I get so heated? I'll tell you my final thought when I get so heated, because every time when I talk about this, right, there's a lot of stuff in the back of my mind, and because I'm following an operating flow. I'm following something here that's guiding me, that's guiding my thoughts. And I cannot wait till I get to the end part, but I can't. I have to make sense for you, right? It irritates me for a very specific reason. Actually, I'm mad. I'm angry. I'm very angry. Very angry because he has the nerve to think we are stupid. Like the nerve. And very angry because those girls had no chance. I don't want to spoil it. Let's go to the next segment. But that's the second dot. So the first dot that I talked about was the fact that he waived his preliminary hearing, which to me shows signs of potential guilt. The second dot is the fact that the search warrant, who was originally sealed, was leaked, and therefore we saw what the authorities potentially gathered in his home, which eventually led to an arrest warrant. This current dot, it's about the release from People magazine about that Bryan Khoberger tried to contact the victim, some of the victims. Contact. In addition to allegedly stalking one of the victims, right? And they concluded that based on two factors, a complaint and also from the phone towers showing where his phone is. Criminals, you guys are stupid, right? Turn your phone on, but then it's not your fault because I don't know where I'm going. I need my GPS. So that's not the point. Let's listen to what People magazine say. In late October, an account that authorities believe belonged to Bryan Khoberger sent a greeting to one of the female victims. The source says, when he didn't get a reply, he sent several more messages to her. Look, we've all gotten those weird messages, right? All these weirdos who send you a message and they don't get the hint. And look, if you wanted that, I'm not insulting you. What I'm saying is, listen. All I'm saying is, if someone says no, stop. No, stop. Stop. He slid into one of the girls' DMs several times. Hi, how are you? Hey, babe. Hi. We all know the drill. That's how they do it. We all know the drill, you know? But she didn't respond. Yeah. It's not for us to understand why she didn't respond. That's it. Period. The source tells People, basically, it was just him saying, hey, how are you? I told you, right? Hi. Hi. But he did it again and again. And look, they said it 2 times. I guarantee you, because again and again. True stalkers have a weird kind of OCD. It eats at their mind. The word no triggers something in them. Like it's a combination of, it's a special type of criminal. It's a combination of weird trauma, weird childhood trauma, weird personal trauma, combined with some Jeffrey Dahmer BS and like some OCD. It's like a pot of weirdness, all combined together, stirred and mixed, and then poured down your throat. Stalker. Now listen to this. Authorities remain tight-lipped about the alleged motive in the attack, because the authorities are protecting their investigation. It's protocol. They might not, look, it's protocol, okay? They have not publicly discussed the relationship between Khoberger and the victims. Khoberger's now deleted Instagram account, which was viewed by People before it was removed, followed the accounts of Morgan Goncalves. I'm sorry if I butcher her name. I apologize. Some words are very hard for me to say. And Cornodo, but there was no public interaction. Can I be very honest with you? That particular part, by itself, you can overlook it, right? Because people follow everybody they don't know. But the reason why that's important is because those girls are gone. Those girls are gone. They're no longer alive. And this person has a history of, right? That paragraph by itself means nothing. You connect it with everything else, then it becomes important. Now listen to what the next part says. She may not have seen them because they went into message requests, says the investigation source. Instagram users are not notified when they receive a message from someone they do not follow back, and the messages go into a special folder. We're still trying to determine how aware the victims were of its existence. Please, this part right here, we know there's an inclination of stalking that happened. The details are a little murky, but I believe that he did stalk them. And the girls at one point had an inclination of this weird guy. And I believe Kaylee did make someone aware of it. I don't want to go through all the back notes. It's in the first video I mentioned. I just didn't put it in the operating flow, so I can't go back to it. Sorry. Yeah. However, this is not an important thing. There's no indication that he was getting frustrated with her lack of response, but he was definitely persistent. The reason why there's no indication that he was frustrated is because he had no way to express that frustration. That's why we don't know if he was frustrated or not. But honey, let me tell you something. He was absolutely frustrated. Because listen, if something doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. I don't believe in serendipity. I don't believe in just chances stuff, right? There has to be a little bit of crumb of something that develop into something bigger. Chance encounter, they do happen, but they are outliers. They are such a big outlier that they are literally, statistically speaking, a 0%. So you can consider them non-existent. I want to go back to this video, and I did bring up this video, and it's from Law and Crime Daily. I didn't bring up this video when they were challenging DM, the survivor. Listen to what that defense lawyer on the panel now says with all this new information that's come.
Social media may have led Khoberger straight to the victims, but the question now is, what can people do? What can they do to protect themselves on platforms like TikTok and Instagram?
Well, you know, we don't know for a fact that social media did lead the investigators to Khoberger or led Khoberger to the victims, but we do know that you can protect yourselves. You can be self-protective. In other words, don't put personally identifiable information on your social media. There's no reason to put your date of birth down for any app that you're using, and there's no reason to put the location on unless you are in a lift and someone needs to find you. So that's the first thing. The other thing is that social media companies should be held responsible for some of the content that goes on. Right now there's a federal law, Section 230, and it says that social media content is just something that the individuals who post are now responsible for. So there are things that you can do.
Well, hopefully people take that advice. Bryan, let's just go back to Khoberger for a second, because every week we learn a little bit more about his connections to the victims. How is this going to affect the June preliminary hearing that we talked about?
Well, Jesse, I think it's all going to come in. The preliminary hearing isn't just based on what they knew at the time of his arrest or when he was arraigned. It's everything coming up to that June 26th. And hey, I've been trying to find angles. I know I'm the resident defense attorney here, but as the circumstantial evidence starts to pile on top of itself, I cannot see a way out for Bryan Khoberger here. It seems like every angle, every bit of information, every little bit of source, it's pointing to the direction that he's a predator and might have been stalking his prey.
Never good when Brian Buckmeyer can't find a defense. That's always bad news. I should tell you that.
Okay. So first thing first is I do agree. I think social media companies need to be held responsible for what people put out here. In Europe, they are liable. So if you ever go to Europe, it's not like information is not the same as here. It's pretty vetted because there are real consequences that will happen to those giants people if we talk reckless And so Section 230 needs to be implemented here in the US because kids are so impressionable. So impressionable. It's important that people are responsible. Look, that's just my opinion. But that's not the point why I stopped there. I stopped there because even the defense person over there on that show is having difficulty defending him. And it's important for me to point this out because, guys, you don't understand how many people actually still believe he's innocent. You have no idea how many people still believe his innocence.
Hey, Bryan.
Ready to do it.
How you feeling?
How you feeling, Bryan? Ready to do it.
Are you ready to go to Idaho?
Ready to do it. Last time to Pennsylvania, Bryan.
The reason why I play this is because you could see and hear something very distinct, is that one person was screaming, "Why did you do it?" We don't know who that person is. Why is a very important question, and it's a question that is absolutely imperative that it gets answered, because the why will lead to changes, not only in our legal system, but also in everything in regards to criminals like him. Why is the reason why we have those laws. So why did he do it? I want to take you back. I want to take you back to his mindset when he was just a teenager. According to Khoberger, he said that he has been depressed since he was 5 years old, which caused him to develop a weird sense of meaning. You might ask yourself, please, I may not know how I felt when I was 4 or 5. It's not for us to decipher because everybody's different, right? So what's important here, in addition to saying that, is that when he was a teenager, full of riddle and doubt, he sought answers as to why he was feeling the way he felt, which is very consistent to someone who is depressed, or at least someone who is not thinking like an average teenager or average functioning human being. Okay? So this is what he said. I feel like an organic sack of meat with no self-worth. As I hug my family, I look into their faces, I see nothing. It is like I'm looking at a video game, but less. This is words from a teenagers. These years are formative years. This is where you're kind of figuring out, who the hell am I? What do I do? What's going on? Oh my God, you remember those years? Full of riddle, full of doubt. It's one of the most dangerous years. One of the most dangerous years in the human being developmental stage. Because you have a lot of freedom, you can move about, and you have no idea what the hell you're doing. And Bryan Khoberger is trying to understand why he's different. He knows he's different, but why is he different? Nothing I do is enjoyable. I am blank. I have no opinion. I have no emotions. I have nothing. Can you relate? This is him asking anybody else like me, what is going on? What is happening? But through all of these posts that he posted online, one particular one stood out to me the most. And that's the one where he said that he could do whatever he wanted with little remorse. Fast forward to his grown-up years. And I've told you in the past update, I said that that sentence right there, to me, means that he has accepted who he is inside. The riddle and the doubt has just clicked, and there's no more doubt, and there's no more riddle. That's it. He knows exactly who he is. Fast forward to him as a grown-up, and we all know this, he goes ahead and tries to study criminals because he's always wanted to study criminals. He's always told, he said to his friends, ever since he was a child and a teenager and now grown up, he loves criminology. He loves criminals. And him feeling the way he felt, going through the heroin addiction, he's like, you know what? Maybe I am a criminal. Let me understand myself a little better. And then he went along and posted this ad to study criminals. Let's go through this ad very quickly. I know we've been through this. Follow me along, okay? Follow. My name is Bryan. I'm inviting you to participate in a research project that seeks to understand how emotions and psychological traits influence decision making when committing a crime. I don't need to know anything else. That first line, that's his synopsis. That's what he wants to study. He wants to know specifically what is going on in your head when you commit the crime. Now let's go back to the question as to why Bryan Khoberger could have potentially have committed this crime. Let's listen to what some of the neighbors say.
Tonight, we have new details in the murder case of those 4 University of Idaho students. This is the spring semester got underway today ahead of suspect Bryan Khoberger's expected court appearance tomorrow. For the first time, we are hearing from one of Khoberger's neighbors. CBS's Lilia Luciano reports from Moscow.
Tonight, in an exclusive interview, a neighbor in the Pullman, Washington apartment building of suspect Bryan Khoberger says Khoberger spoke to him about the murders. The neighbor asked not to be identified.
He brought it up in conversation, asked if I had heard about the murders, and which I did, and then he said, yeah, it seems like they have no leads. It seems like it was a crime of passion. At the time of our conversation, it was only like, a few days after it had happened, so there wasn't much details out.
Also,
okay. So why is that relevant? Why is that important for me to bring this up to you? It's because a lot of the time with criminals, no matter how you spin it, they have a narcissistic air to them. Pick one and tell me when they're not narcissistic. I'll say, aha, okay? True criminals. Of course, there's always exception to a rule. Please beware, absolute, I understand. But listen to me. Is that this guy has an ego. He has an ego. In the affidavit that we mentioned, his cell phone tower pinged his phone around the property of those girls. And not only that, according to the affidavit, he went back to the scene of the crime. For what? For Skittles? To garden? To maybe look at the moon and the sunset? No! There's an ego air to it. Ego air to it. He's proud. I'm going to put alleged. Look, I put alleged in the editing so nobody can come at me with your Sue sticks. But, yeah, there's an ego to him. Shortly after the murder was committed, allegedly, he's talking about, did you hear about it? Did you hear about it? Did you hear about it? Oh my God, it must be a crime of passion. Crime of passion. There's a reason why I stopped a passion. There's a passion. He contacted and tried to message one of the girls. Passion. Contacted one of the girls. She didn't respond. Passion. Ego. Proud. Proud that that girl that he messaged is no longer alive. Passion. A crime of passion. How would you know that, Mr. Khoberger? How would you know that, Mr. Khoberger? Why would you bring that up, Mr. Khoberger? What? And by the way, to be very clear, it doesn't say here in the video, but it does in my research. This is not a neighbor that he talked to all the time. This is literally him walking to a strange neighbor and asking and bringing up the murders. Listen to me. I don't believe in serendipity. If something does not make sense, it doesn't make sense. But if something makes sense, most likely, it makes sense. So why would, allegedly, Bryan Khoberger... Thank God for the alleged button. Undo button, undo. You guys from the last post, Sarah Boone, right? Oh, the comments were great. Anyway, let's pay attention. Why would Bryan Khoberger commit this crime? I've mentioned and talked about in one of the first video I made about Bryan Khoberger that there has been, before we even knew all this information, that there's air, there is potential, there's a whisper of stalking. And I told you, real stalkers are sick. They don't think like me and you. They are a different kind of criminals. They are completely on their own category. They are dangerously sick. And to make things worse, the laws, because innocent to proven guilty, the laws can't even protect you until it might be too late. What are you going to do? Officer, this guy's stalking me. Well, you know, it's a free country. He can just take his car and follow you whatever he wants. Officer, this guy's stalking me. Well, did he assault you? No, but he's right there. Well, it's public road. Yeah, the laws make it very difficult to stop a stalker before he strikes. I believe Bryan Khoberger did it because that girl didn't pay him any mind. Not because she didn't want to. It doesn't matter. Look, it doesn't even matter why she didn't respond. It's her prerogative. She doesn't have to answer you if she doesn't want to. She doesn't have to look at you if she doesn't want to. Do you understand? But they're not right up here. Something is not well computed. Click, 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 click. Something is not right up there. Look, I bet you. She probably didn't see the messages. She probably was like, oh, who's this? I'm tired. Did we go to the club? Yep. It's a college kid. She has to worry about school. Get out of here, sir. Get out of here. Get out of here. But no, true stalkers have a weird OCD situation that is literally unexplainable. Extremely dangerous. You've come face to face with your stalker. You are lucky if you're alive. They have this thing where like their proximity is their drug. They get euphoric when they're like, hi. It's weird. And like you at the other person, you're like, excuse me, don't touch me. Excuse me, stop. It doesn't compute. It makes them angry. They almost want to consume you. I'm not even playing. I'm serious. True stalkers are no jokes. They are not okay. And the thing, and this is why, like, this is another one of my personal opinion. I hope that as we understand the why, that why will change the laws. Because anybody who is a true stalker, go seek help. It's not normal for you to obsess about someone that tells you no. No, it's not normal. Go get therapy. Leave people alone. Don't put your hands on someone. Simple and clear. If you have the urge to put your hands on someone, you have a problem. 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 If you get urges to put your hand on someone for whatever reason, you have a problem. I don't care. You have a problem. And the reason why I get so infuriated and heated about this, I'll tell you why. Oh, man, I'll tell you why. This is very common. This is very common. Look, if you study criminals, no, I don't study criminals, but the whole stalking situation complex, yeah, it's very tied to ego. It's tied to narcissism. It's tied to a lot of stuff. It's a spectrum. But the ones that are far, like over there, gone, the true stalkers, they're not okay up here. And the reason why it angers me a lot is because this happens a lot. A lot. Can I stretch this enough? It happens a lot. You don't understand how often that happens. And there is nothing we can do about this. There's nothing. If you survive the first strike, you are lucky. But think about the trauma. These are girls who lost their lives. By what? By just being girls. Really? That's why it's infuriating. And it happens to men too. You know? But mainly girls are subject to that. It's so scary. Bryan Khoberger allegedly committed the murders. He did it because He did it because he wanted to know how he would feel. This was potentially an experiment for him. And in addition to it being an experiment, he felt a certain way when one of the girl that he had interest in did not return his advance. It triggered something in him, and he used that as an opportunity to explore what he always wanted ever since he was 16. Ever since he was 16. That is why I believe Bryan Khoberger may have committed a crime. Before you throw darts at me, listen to me very carefully. Okay, listen, this is my point of view. And I said allege. So, allegedly. Oh, yeah, people yell at me for that. They're like, oh my God, he's innocent until proven guilty. I'm telling you, there's a lot of people there who still believe he's innocent. Innocent until proven guilty. I get that. On paper, it is what it is. But listen to me. Listen to me very closely. If you see me do this to someone next to me, I didn't do it. What are you going to say? Oh, he's innocent until proven guilty. Like, come on. Come on. There's certain things like 1 + 1 = 2. In quantum physics, it doesn't equal 2. I know. Bad example, but only science people will understand that. Oh God, I'll stay such an idiot. Anyway, listen. That's why. Let's go to my final thought. I'm going to tie all those dots together, and I'm going to explain to you a little bit what this scenario may have looked like. Again, this is my point of view, okay? I'm not saying this is what happened. Allegedly. Let's go final thought. Bryan Khoberger is a troubled young man. He doesn't quite understand what is going on with him. Why does he feel depressed at such a young age? And he has a lot of questions that goes through his head. In addition, as he goes through, life as a teenager and whatnot, he really seeks and he's looking for answers as to why do I feel so different? Why am I so different? And truthfully, we all felt like that when we were teenagers. We were full with riddles and doubts, and we're all trying to find ourselves. The difference is that Bryan Khoberger was really questioning why he felt no emotions. None at all. Not even towards his own parents. As life progresses and as he's computing and trying to understand who he is, he gets to a point where it clicks. And then he's like, you know what? I'm done asking questions. I am who I am. Just like all of us. At some point, we stop asking questions and we succumb to who we truly are. It's part of being a grown-up. It's normal. Bryan Khoberger then decides to study what he always wanted to study, criminology. Yeah, that interests him. But also because there's something that fascinates him about criminals is how they're able to commit those crimes and not feel anything. He feels a sense of relatability. He can relate to their psyche and he wants to know more. So he sets out to study what he studies and he wants to have a case study and understand the psyche of criminals because they are his friends. He feels most connected to them. He wants to understand himself and them more. The more and more he embraces really who he is, and the more he realizes, hey, I can really do whatever I want and not feel anything at all. Which explains why he is so nonchalant when he was arrested. Why he is so nonchalant when people yell at him, why do you do it? It's because he doesn't feel anything. Why does Bryan Khoberger looks well rested and he had a meal and he looks well fed? Because he's unbothered. He's in that jail. He sleeps 8 hours a day. Well slept. Well rested. Because he doesn't feel anything. That's why his nonchalantness is coming from. And from people who are emotional beings like us, like the rest of us, we're like, I don't understand. Because if I was really innocent, I would not be acting like that. It's not shyness. because there is a consistency in the pattern of his behavior and mental state from when he was just a little goober 5-year-old child, according to him. That consistency was very consistent throughout his grown-up years. So that's why he is nonchalant and emotionless, because he told you many times, he told us all many times, he doesn't feel anything, not even for his parents. If he feels nothing for his parents, what makes you think he will feel something for you? Let alone the victims. Think about that. If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. If it makes sense, it makes sense. Let's move forward. Now we get to the moment of the crime. This guy has this ego about him. He believes he's smart. He believes he's smarter. He believes he has studied his condition. He studied the system. And he is studying criminology, darling. So he knows exactly how the system works. So he goes about and decides to activate his plan. He studies the house, learns the entrances, understands his terrain, stalks his victim, analyzes right, analyzes left, understands what's in front of him, and then he decides to strike. What he did not take into account for, because he knew the floor plan of the house very precisely, but what he failed to understand is that human beings, we may be predictable, but honey, please, we're predictable up to a certain point. Those teenage girls, those college students, we were all in college. All we do is do stuff that are silly and stupid. Those girls were not in the places where he expected them to be. So when he went and decided to strike, things were not the way he planned it out to be. There was light, there was noise, there was motion, there was movement. Where is she? She's not in her room. What's going on? There was too much going on. It's not what he expected it to be. So as he's hurrying, scurrying, looking for the girl who dare not answer to him, she was not in her room. She was with her friend. Unfortunately, collateral damage. And they both died. Realizing the severity of the situation and understanding that he didn't control the situation, rushes out and escapes. He goes home. Maybe he's like, oh God, this was actually quite, wow, this is the first time I feel something. It's the first time I feel something. Not realizing that along the way, he's just laying crumbs of his DNA everywhere. Not just in the house of the victim, but bringing it back home. Then at some point, gets in his car and decides to clean up his car with bleach. When was the last time you cleaned your car with bleach? Please. That one? Go ahead, lie to me. Exactly. Scrubbed. When was the last time you used tarp? When was the last time you used black garbage bag to clean out your car? Please. And then to make things even more weirder, you take out that same trash in your neighbor's garbage can at 4 a.m. Please. If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. Stop trying to make sense of something that doesn't make sense. When someone tells you they are who they are, you listen. If you see what's going on there, you see, or you watch. Stop trying to make things fit. It doesn't fit. If it fits, pay attention. In this scenario of this credible suspect, too many things fit. Because let me tell you something. Because right after he cleaned up his car, what? There's a story behind that. Right after he went in and scrubbed his car with bleach, the FBI was already on to him. Right after he left those victims' house, the FBI was already on to him. I have news for you, criminals. The FBI never sleeps. I got news for you, guys. I have a friend who's in the FBI. Please, they never sleep. They never sleep. They never sleep. He was in the IRS first, and then he moved to the FBI. Long story. Hi, Mike. Never sleep. They never sleep. They never sleep. There's always someone watching. They were right there before he even arrived with the father. They saw it all happen, and they picked up that trash. And you don't think there's something in that trash? Honey, this is before the arrest warrant. When the FBI and everybody got what they needed to get, judge, sign. We need an arrest warrant. Why do I need to sign? Because look what we got. Look what we got. Sign. The judge signed, and they went and they got him. They don't just pick you up for no reason. What? This is not... This is not Cuba. Oh, please. Oh my God. This is not China. Stop. Please don't come at me. But you know what I'm trying to say. This is not a dictatorship going on here. Do you understand? There's rules and laws over here. Do you understand? You can't just come into my house and arrest me for no freaking reason. Do you understand? If you're offended, don't be offended. I'm telling a story. So what? Mr. Bryan Khoberger found himself in a cell. He's a criminology person. I'm sure he knows what it means when you have a warrant. I'm sure he knows what that means when there's a warrant for your arrest. The reason why he's not flailing like I said I would, he knows he got caught. I came to this realization. He understands that he got caught. Because when it got to the defense lawyer Ann Taylor, they had a conversation. They talked. And Ann said to him, Bryan, there's a death penalty in the state. Do you understand? Do you want to die? I don't care. No, he cares. He cares. I'll tell you why he cares. Self-preservation is a very powerful instinct. Only people that have a specific genetic disorder who don't have self-preservation, he doesn't have that. So now Bryan doesn't want to die. So he's going to pretend like he's innocent in front of us, but behind closed doors, honey, there's real conversation going on with the prosecution and the defense. He's guilty. He's guilty, and Ann Taylor is trying to find a way to make it and negotiate a non-death penalty. And I believe that's why there's a lot of gag orders going on, because they don't want to incite a revolution. Yeah, because can you imagine if news came out that we came to an agreement, there was no death penalty, people will be on the streets rioting. Of course, plenty of people want to see this guy executed. They have to be very careful about how this is publicized. That gag order was extended to the attorneys. The courts are saying, everybody shut up. And that release of the search warrant, not cool. Not cool. Even though, we're talking about it, but whoever leaked it, whoever released it, stop it. Stop it. Wait till freaking June. Stop it. It's reckless. It's reckless. That's my final thought, right? Interesting dots, right? Look at that. Does that make sense? Look, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not even that smart. But you put 1 and 1 together like this, equals 2. Except in quantum physics. Equals 2. 2. What a story this has been. And I've been following it. Just so you know, when I do my research, I have a full-time job, okay, and I have a full family. So my research, sometimes the news come out, I can't talk about it yet. I can't talk about it as it goes because I got other stuff to do. So I just collect. I have a system. 2 days collection, 2 days collection, 1 day verification. In the verification, okay, got it. In that same day, I make my operating flow, got it. And I film, got it. And I edit, got it. Then I schedule it. Grosso modo, total per video, it's a lot of hours, right? So I can't post every day. Even though I want to, but I can't. That's not the point. Listen, I'm done. Let's go ahead to the Let's Talk segment. Let's talk. I love this segment. Let's talk. I'm exhausted. Are you tired? This was one of the heaviest videos I've made, along with some of the Darrell Brooks stuff. This was hard. This was really hard. This was really hard to put together. It really was. It really was. And I'll tell you why it was really hard. Because there's a lot of stuff that's very triggering here. Look, I'm a nice person. There's certain things. I'm a nice person, but I have a temper. For those who know, you know. If you don't know, I have a temper. There's certain things that take me from 0 to 1,000. And one of them, actually, there's two of them. Violence towards women. It's almost, it has to do with my trauma, by the way. It does. Because I get therapized every month. Once a month. That's on the schedule. And I talk to her whenever I want. Not for free. But I talk to her whenever I want. And I talk to her a lot. I talk to her a lot. Whatever I want, please. Whatever I want. And yes, my childhood trauma has made me very sensitive to violence towards women. It's not rational. And the therapist says, don't try to rationalize it. The issue with trauma is not to deny your body from experiencing it. The issue with trauma is to recognize where is the door. Maybe don't step in that door, or understand that if you step in that door, you're going to end up being and feeling a certain way. Therefore, tread with caution. Trauma is all about management. It's not about deleting it. It's not about removing it. Trauma is bigger than what you might think. Yeah, and trauma is physical. Like I feel, like I tremble, my heart rate increases, I sweat, I get angry, I get mad. Like it's physical. I get a physical response. Violence against women triggers me so much. It's not rational. I told you, right? I just told you. She said, don't try to rationalize it. It's not rational because I can't control it. It just go up. And as I'm talking to you this, like I have the operating flow here and I can read what I'm writing. I can read what I'm writing. And every segment has a title, And even though I'm talking about the first segment, which you might think there's nothing about violence against women in this, but I can see from my eyeballs and I see it and then I peek, my eyes goes everywhere and I look at it. I try my best not to look at it, but it just gives me a rise. This was hard to do for me. It really was. It really was. Because those girls had no chance. They had no chance. Self-defense, all that bullshit, they had no chance. They were roommates. Safety in numbers didn't matter. And that's the problem with stalkers. There is nothing that can be done. Unless something is changed in the way the laws look at things, where like if you exhibit stalker-like behavior, please, guilty. That's harsh. But you know what I mean? We need to find a way for the law to look at the body of work of someone and determine the decision. I know it sounds ridiculous. I'm not that smart. People are way smarter than me. Lawyers, get to work. Figure something out. This cannot happen. This needs to stop. You can't have someone who has a litany or a thing of behavior for so long, and then like, oh my God, oops, someone's dead. What do you mean, oops? Someone is dead. Well, 4 people are dead. Oops, how dare you? How dare you? Irritates me. Oh, honey. And the second thing that just brings my blood to boil, children. Oh, violence towards kids. Oh, I can't even breathe. I can't breathe. These two things, I can't control it. And I do my best to, because I'm trained. Like the therapist trains me. She trains me to like, okay, listen, pay attention. It's coming. Adjust yourself. Brace. I train, but sometimes it's hard. It's hard. I get angry against violence against women, and I get angry and teary violence against kids. I can't freaking help it. Please forgive me. Yeah. Oh. All because she said no. Freaking monster. the audacity to have no emotions. And I know he probably can't help it because he's sick, allegedly. Just stings a little more. That's all. I'm sorry. This is supposed to be like happy-go-lucky, right? Yeah. I tried to make you laugh. I hope I made you laugh today. Nothing about this was really laughable for me. Nothing about this was like in a cheery mood. All of it was very difficult to do. It really was. It really was difficult to do today. Because it just had my triggers all over it again. Maybe I wasn't prepared. Maybe I wasn't prepared to. Yeah. Maybe my training went out the door. I don't know why. Maybe it did. Yeah. I have the best in-laws ever. Hi. What is this you say? Can I tell you that, my niece-in-law watches the show, and she's 17 years old. She's about to be 18, and she's going to study to be a fashion designer, darling. Fashion designer, darling. No, interior designer. Oops, sorry. An interior designer, darling. Interior designer, darling. Right? And she watched the show, and she said, Uncle Alistair, you're such an idiot. Why'd you go like this? Why'd you go like this? Yeah, she said, you should use props. Stop using your pen and your stupid coaster. She's like, buy props. I said, okay, Ashley, okay. Okay, boss lady, okay. So I'm gonna get props for my stuff. The problem is that a lot of the stuff that I do it's spur of the moment. And so I don't know where I'm gonna put those props because they're gonna be everywhere. So spur of the moment. So Ashley, I will try, okay? Okay, darling, I'll try. Did you have a good weekend? Is your weekend going okay? Are you having a good time? Look, a lot of my affectation, because I have nieces and nephews who are 17, sorry. And then in high school, oh man, they learn stuff and like, yeah. Like Ashley is like, Uncle Alistair, period. And then Josh, my nephew-in-law, he's like, Uncle Alistair. I forgot what dance is that? I don't even know. So silly. And then my nephew, my actual nephew, the son of my brother. That's so funny. What happened was, like, is that English? What's this? And I tell my brother, Yannick, what are you teaching your son? And he's like, I don't know what that is. What happened was, so funny, these kids. Oh, but they're on my life. I joke around. I said, if I didn't have my daughter, these were my children. Honestly, I look at them as my kids. They're not in the will, though. Sorry, kids. Olympia wins on this one. Anyway, goodbye. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on Monday. Thank you. Oh, wait. Oh, God. Thank you. Goodbye. Thank you.